So the nature of God as it relates to evil, how would you then explain it then with his wisdom with evil, with him being omniscient, knowing it with evil, since he's not responsible for evil, and being all-powerful? How then would you say, just quickly, in regards to him using evil but not being responsible for evil?
Well, God has given us this gift of choice. And while he's absolutely sovereign, he could have prevented Adam and Eve from choosing sin. In order to do so, he would have to make them essentially robots who could only choose what is right and never choose what is wrong. But God gave us this gift of choice, and we should look at it and we should say, you know what? If I said, God, I wish you wouldn't have allowed any sin into the world and any person ever to have done evil. I wish you wouldn't have let me ever sin. Then essentially what you're arguing is, God, I wish I didn't exist and that human beings with the natures they have did not exist. Human beings with the freedom of choice. You can't have it both ways. And so I think God is so supreme, he's so sovereign, that he's not threatened by the gift of choice, but he can say that he intended for good even the worst things. You can look at it and you say, did God, if you were right, think of it as a story. I've written about 10 novels or so, okay? So in these stories, I know that I've always got to have people who start out where the story's usually is probably going okay, and then I'm going to bring about some great good at the end of the story, but what happens in between is everything goes crazy. Yeah. People are getting killed, and people are suffering, and people are hurting, and there's all these bad things that are happening, okay? God started everything perfectly at Eden. God has written the greatest story there's ever been. It's the unfolding drama of redemption, and we've not seen its fulfillment yet. We've not seen its end yet. And when the end comes, by the way, the end will never end. Forever we will go on in happiness and service and worship. So the beginning of the story, great, it's Eden. End of the story that never ends, great, it's New Earth. Guess where we live? It's in the middle. We live in the middle where all kinds of things go wrong. But a good author will use the bad things that go wrong and bring them together with some good purpose in the end. So the question is, do you think God's a good author?